Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today we're racing at Pheonix Rising Yacht Club in the Blake Sea by the Leviathan Ahab's Haunt area. Today we've got just 5 racers, and these are 4 really fast racers, and then me. I'm also coming in without any practice, which is always a bad thing, so my best hope is to just try and sail clean and keep up with the boats around me so that I can end up with a good result. So I can't stress enough the importance of some practice, like I barely had chance to make the first mark, so I at least had some experience with the start. But like these starts are usually where a lot of these races are won and lost, so it's really crucial to get a good start. Like if you can dial that start in, you will be in a good spot to keep up with everybody else and possibly even get the win. So now, as you can hear from the gong, the race has started, pre-start timer is down, and I noticed immediately I have an issue. When I'm turning my boat, I am actually not, the camera's rotating, so I have to do a fast fix. My protocol for that there was, well, announce the boat's not working, so that nobody smashes into you and get frustrated. Moor the boat, stand up, sit down, go again. Alright, and now hopefully I should have control. Let's do a quick wiggle test. Things seem to be working so far. There it is. I don't want to hit the boat that's ahead of me, even though like I might have right of way, simply because it's just not cool. I'm the one with the issue. They're on their path. Let's just, no, as you can see, I'm on a port tack, so this is like I would totally be 100% in the wrong. So either way, we always want to avoid issues. So we adjust, we adapt, because we are not following our race start protocol because, well, we had the issue, and now we just have to adapt, and adapt we shall. So we've got like 40 seconds left on the timer. My navigation says at the speed I'm going, I'll probably get there within 40 or 50 seconds. I just gotta sail it nice, tidy. Now it's saying 27, so I'll be there faster. So I just need to like gauge it. I realize I'm also not foiling at the moment. I do need to get myself on the foils as soon as possible. With this boat, you really want to stay on the foils like as much as possible, because that's where you will win or lose out on the speeds. So make my last tack. Timer's running down. We're 10 seconds. I gotta get up on these foils and go. I'm on a port tack. I see a boat on my right coming on the starboard tack, so they will have right of way. Yeah, they have right of way. But either way, they're ahead at the turn. I just need to hold my line and what have you. But I turned the wrong direction and ended up going the wrong way. And yeah, not a bad start. Like the lead boat, Kelly in front, is super fast, and it's always good to be within touching distance. So if I can keep this position, if I can make as few mistakes as possible, I should end close to her, if not fighting for the win for the race. Assuming the boat has come into the view on my left, that's Chris, and also another super fast boat, and making a great start, taking that lead ahead. So best I can do, considering that I've got no practice, is to just try and sail tidy, sail clean, stay within touching distance of them, and I should be good to go. So here we are approaching the first mark, and so far so good. This is about as far as my practice run went, so this is not totally foreign. I see that they're making a little turn to go southwards a little bit early, so I'm like, well, let me maintain the speed, go around them. I have to cover a longer distance for sure, it's the trade-off, but I should be ahead of them, and if I get far enough ahead, I could possibly make my turn cleanly and stay ahead, or at least stay within touching distance. Here you will see that we have a slight change in tactics, or difference in tactics from the other boats. They both opt to turn about now before they get to the sim crossing, and I go a little bit deeper in and I make my turn. So at first glance, it appears that I have lost out because now they're further ahead of me. But in reality, I should be able to catch them when it comes to that mark because I'm sailing a slightly better angle and, well, not in parallel to them. But when they make their turn and I make my turn, it should be around the same time, which means we'll be all three within touching distance once again, which is a great position for me to be in. Aspire to be amongst these faster boats, and the best way to do that is to sail with them, and sailing with them means being in touching distance of them and staying close and learning from the best. But here also, remember I said no practice, I kind of realized a couple of things. First, my navigation is not telling me whether I should be turning clockwise or counterclockwise, which is important information, especially when you haven't practiced the course. And here, I realize I'm pointing at my mark, but I don't know which direction I'm supposed to turn. I see the other two have turned a little bit late, which means I might have done something wrong. I check my note card here, and you see that I am missing commas. I accidentally deleted the commas when I was updating this note card so I can have better navigation. So here I am on the fly trying to fix it in the middle of the race. Not ideal. This doesn't cost me time per se on this little straight upwind leg that we're sailing, but as you will see in just a second, it is a very costly mistake, one that you don't just recover from easily. So I want to swap out the note cards and put this through as quickly as possible, but I'm at the mark. I need to make sure I'm going around it the correct way, otherwise I'll face penalties. And I realize from the other two boats, they're going the other side of the mark, and there's a very good chance they're right and I'm wrong. So I gotta come off the foils, wait for the pass, do a tack, and then tack again. And I also have to make sure that the boat behind me, I'm not impeding them while I do this maneuver, because I would be 100% wrong. Thankfully, I managed to get back on the foils and get going, and there's plenty of space for the boat behind, absolutely no issues, and I'm good to go. Just need to eat the loss. The two boats ahead of me are now rather than next to me, which is where we were. They're now like way ahead of me. They're like at least 100, 110 meters ahead. They're outside of my 80-meter circle, and I'm still fixing my navigation. So put them through, get it going again. I have to make a note here that I'm going towards waypoint 5. That is important, because as I swap out note cards for the navigation, it's going to point me towards the start, which is not where I want to go. So once navigation loads, I gotta make sure I put in the waypoint or just hit the up arrow. The up arrow would be a little bit slower on the navigation, so it's easier to just update the waypoint. And, well, you see, I'm trying to focus on sailing as well, so I hit the wrong button. I don't even hit that button off. I don't have to do this often in the middle of a race, so the only reason I know this is there is because I was playing around with it. But, hey, you know what? I see the direction I need to go in now. I fixed my USB problem. Good to go. Woosah. Now to just sail clean, follow the leader, try to get as close as I can, tidy turns and everything. Slow is steady, steady is smooth, smooth is fast, and try to catch up. Here we are in a little bit of a downwind section, and I noticed that here, in my efforts, I may have picked up a little bit of speed somehow, which is always a good thing. I see that I've put distance to the boat behind me, so solid chance that they're having issues, which is not fun, but it is what it is. I can only focus on my race at this point and try to catch the boats ahead. You see that the dots have gotten a little spread out. One of them is still about that 100, 110 meters away. The other one's gotten a little bit more distance, which means probably that maneuver of mine wasn't as tidy as it could have been. And, fine. We'll just work through and try and catch up. I do notice though that I am slowly catching up the boat ahead. I noticed that they may have also done a wobble and turned a little bit too much into the wind, which means the angle is not ideal, which is probably why I'm catching up. And now we ground at this mark and we see those two boats coming together again. So someone's probably made a mistake, but I can't dwell on that too much. I need to stay focused and make sure that my maneuvers are clean. And here's actually a moment. I see my boat is still going fast, but I'm not so sure if this is the optimal sail for this direction, even though I've already got momentum, so I do a quick sail swap. And I feel, I don't know, like I do, if I'd practiced I would have been able to test, but since I didn't, it's a recurring theme for this video. I just opted to just pick correct sail, so lose out on a little bit of time in swapping the sails, but now the boat is flat. I'm still doing 21, 22 knots, still keeping strong. It's a good position to be. So now I can look ahead a little bit and plan. I see where the marker is, I see where I need to make my turn, and I also see the two dots are now caught up to each other, but they're both significantly farther away from me, which means that sail swap was not the right call. But you know what? Can't dwell on that. Lessons learned for the next race. And now we just focus on sailing clean. You know, get in that practice. I didn't practice before the race, so this is now essentially my practice for the next one. Now, as we go along, we can see that they're both neck and neck with each other, which is cool, which means they're fighting, and usually fighting boats move a little bit slower. Like if you can just have a clean race, you're in clean air, usually you go faster. But when you have to like play a little bit of defense or adjust your line, generally you do move slower. Here it appears one of the boats made a mistake and has dropped off the foils. But somehow I think I was clean enough that I've gotten both of them back within my draw distance range, which is about 128 meters. So great, they're close, within the eye distance. I can, just keep it clean and I will get through. You would have seen something funny happening there in terms of me just jumping over a corner. There is an add-on that is allowed for this race, which is like a corner zapper. I will have to leave a link to it at some point so that you can also check it out. But basically, it stops you from dying on some corners as one usually is accustomed to. So, here, I've caught up with the two lead boats somehow. I've had a little wobble and made a little bit mistake. My tail's not optimally trimmed. And I bumped the boat in front of me. It didn't impact them whatsoever, but it definitely impacted me in terms of throwing me into irons, and now I'm kind of stuck dead in water, and I've got to fight myself to get back some momentum and get back on the foils. And it's like, that is an opportunity missed. It's like, oh, I could have made a clean pass around them and gone through and just like had that position, but mistakes happen, was not ideal. I wobble, need to get those turns a little bit cleaner. But now I'm on the foils, she's not on the foils, which means I'm going to go through. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, like she's managed to get on the foils. But now it's like I'm in her wind shadow, which means I am losing speed from being that shadow. You see me there, just lose 50% of my speed right there. Now, what's confusing is she's 90 degrees to my left, and I'm still getting hit with wind shadow. So it's like the wind shadow is not hitting from the apparent wind, but it is hitting from the true wind, which is something that I did not realize during the race, and that realization has cost me dearly, because each and every single time, like right now, you see I'm just losing 30% of my speed, 20% of my speed, and she is just flying right by. So now that I kind of know how the wind shadows work on these boats, I need to adjust accordingly for the next time, because that was just costly. Like, you just lose so much speed in wind shadow, and you know what? thinking about it now, I could have taken a different course, gone a little bit away, because the wind shadow really only affects you when you're within chat range or the yellow circle on my mini-map. So here, as a perfect example, if I held my course, let her keep going in that direction, get out of her chat range, I would not have this wind shadow right now where I'm losing 10%, 5%, 20%, 23%, and now it's just, I've lost that speed for so long, she's just gonna sail right by, and now the only way for me to catch her is if she makes another mistake down the line, which we'll have to see if that happens. So if I took a little bit more of a further route, I would be going faster, but I would be sailing a longer distance. That is a trade-off, and that could have given me a different outcome. But alas, this is the route I chose. I stuck with it. I mean, it's part of the lack of preparation, so lack of seeing what alternatives while you're studying and doing your recon lap. And also, I can't get too close to the land here because I've got a boat to my left, and I need to give them space because there is an obstacle. So with that in mind, I give them the space, I do my maneuver slowly and gently. I kind of realize I'm not going to make the mark, so I just need to make sure I stay on this course, do my tack, and try to get as close to the mark as possible without impeding or getting in anybody's way, and by keeping the speed as well. So here you can see Chris is just going past me. It's like, yeah, she just had a better line, better speed, add wind shadow, all those unpleasant things. And such is sail racing. You know, it's really cool that the technology in this game of Second Life is really good in that it does mimic a lot of these real things, which is just great. You know, it just adds to the fun, adds to the challenge, and adds to the learning curve. So here I'm going to see that she is going to turn a little bit later than I do. I'm not exactly sure why, but it does give her better speed and angle to the mark, because here, while I do get my turn spot on, she doesn't need to turn again. She can just go straight past the mark, whereas I now need to bear away from the wind to turn, and the turning is not exactly the fastest. But here you can see, by the time I get my sail up and we're both gone up to speed, she is now maybe like 60 meters ahead. So she's like within my red circle, but still in the lead. And now it's on me to try and claw back some distance somehow. So again, smooth is steady, slow is smooth, slow is steady, steady is smooth, smooth is fast. So just gotta get onto it. Don't mind this boat in the air on my left. That is just one of Second Life's many glitches on crossings. And now when we make our next crossing, we'll see exactly how far ahead she is, which is far. She's like about a 7.5 ahead. Probably not going to catch her this race at all. But right now that's not the focus. The focus is sailing clean, making my turns, getting the job done, and trying to just outdo my opponent that's in front of me and try to claw back some distance and maybe even get ahead. Now we're going to round this boat, and I feel like I did this turn very well in terms of I kept my speed, kept on the foils, turned it perfectly for once, and now you see that she's actually closer to me than before. Still ahead, but closer, and that counts. You know, like all those clean turns, you can really like see the difference and how much time you can gain or lose when you do it properly or not properly. So again, now we can also see the two boats that are trailing us. They're having a fight of their own, and you know, now we just keep going, and try to like keep things going steady and smooth. Now, I don't quite know exactly where I'm going next because again, no practice, but I do have a map open on a second screen which you don't see in this video. so I kind of have an idea of what direction I need to go, and I can also see the lead boat, what direction they're going in. So here I try to take a little bit of a risk, because if we keep doing the same thing, I will always stay behind. So here I do a quick sail swap, and just studying these video, which is really good to do, I'm actually seeing that I claw in a lot of distance, but I screw it up and I hold the sail for too long when I should swap over to the other one, because now by the time I realize my mistake and fix it and swap my sail, she has gone back ahead, which is like I have net lost, if anything, from how she's closer to that red ring. But anyways, here we are, we just keep going and try to do better again. It's not all lost, like there is still hope, like there's still plenty of race to go. We're only on waypoint 16, which means there's like one more marker after this one and then the finish line, so there is still hope. You just keep going, you don't quit too early. And here I have another opportunity coming that was missed. Now, I'm using a draw distance of 128 meters simply because that is optimal for my computer, that I can race and be fine and not be worried about the lag of the sims around me. I would preferably like to have a 256 meter draw distance, but sometimes my computer has issues. I'm just limited by the hardware, which is why my videos are not as pretty as others. But here there's an opportunity. You see the boat ahead is on the ring and now slowing down very hard. And I don't realize it, but I hit the same obstacle she did, which cost me a ton of speed. I went from going 20 knots down to 13 knots. And because I made the same mistake, it was a net loss for me at the end. Somehow, like, if I had noticed that, if I had seen her hit that obstacle, again, the better draw distance, I would have probably picked that up a little bit sooner. But basically, if I'd gone around the obstacle, I would have probably just sailed clean past around her with no issues. But alas, missed opportunity. Alright, no problem, just something you learn from observing the replays and practicing. And we just move on. So here's another interesting situation that's happened. The mark is straight ahead of me, but I see the boat ahead taking a different line and also somehow going faster. Probably again, you see me doing a sail swap. She's probably done that much sooner. But she's going the wrong way. Probably using the old version of the USB, which does not include this point, but the new one does, which is what I'm heading for. And she's just completely missed it and just gone past and gone such a huge lead as a result. You see the radio call coming saying, hey, you missed a mark, you need to do a penalty. I made a little bit of a mistake there myself, but you see, she's done the penalty, but she's still the exact same distance ahead. It's like that 360 did absolutely nothing in terms of a penalty. Like, we're kind of like converging here a moment, but you'll see when I do my tack and head the same direction that she's in, she's like clean outside of my range, which means she's like gone advantage, did a penalty, and still had an even bigger advantage at the end. Now, those are the rules, those are the instructions, everyone followed them to the letter. It's no fault or unfairness, those are just what it is. But, maybe there's opportunity that means that, hey, that penalty is not really much of a penalty, but there's always going to be discussion of, okay, well, then what is fair? How do you police it? How do you do that? That's a problem for another day. For right now, we're heading to the finish line, and if I stay on this course and do the same thing she's doing, I'm definitely going to finish behind. This is my last chance to try something different. Like, so I'm here calculating, okay, cool, what can I do? Do I tack now and then tack again? Am I on the right track to do my tack? It's like not clear, but I've got to try something. So in my mind here, I'm looking at, well, if I tack now, which is what I just did, and I tack again, it's an extra maneuver, yes, and you are slower whenever you do these maneuvers, but I should have momentum and speed going over the line, where my opponent is going to have to do another tack and might slow down on that tack to get through. Now, what I didn't realize, which, I mean, this is a worthwhile shot. This is absolutely the right call, I think, to make in terms of trying something. But what I didn't realize is that she would be coming in right next to the line on the starboard tack, so she'd have right away. So even if I did claw back, and even if I was right there, she would have right away. She just needs to barely nudge her boat in that direction. She's over the line ahead of me. But hey, you know what? All in all, for no practice, it was a great race. Everything went smoothly-ish. I could have done some things better. Finished third over the line, you know. Moral of the story for me is practice some more, show up a day early, 2 days early, whatever. Practice the course, get the dry run in, take some notes, and keep sailing. That's all for today.